Welcome back to the channel Break from Fear with Terry Pickens. It's the channel where I do my best, and all the glory goes to God. I'm simply the messenger of a download. I want you to like or subscribe to the channel and feel free to ask any questions you want. When you ask questions, information that's coming to me is not from my own mind. So I have the answer just comes when it's asked. Today, I am going to continue expanding on autism. Now, I want to reassure you that if you take all the Tylenol out of the world and all the vaccines, you will still have autism. But before I break that down, let's just go into what the Psychology Bible defines as autism. It's called the DSM-5, and it lists autism as deficits in two core areas of a child's mind or their life. Number one is social communication and interaction, and number two is repetitive patterns of behavior. Some of these are rituals. Some autistic kids can be nonverbal. There are sensory issues, and they are usually inflexible about their routines, which is understandable. A lot of people are inflexible about their routines because that calms your anxiety. If you are flexible, it means a lot of change can happen. When you're inflexible, you can predict the moment to moment, the day to day. And so whether you're an adult or a child, that keeps anxiety at bay when you can predict what's going to happen as best as you can. Additionally, the one on sensory issues, where either the child or the adult is extremely sensitive to noise. As an example, that happens in all of us. So all of us are living in survival mode. It's just really a matter of degree. And we all have a disturbance of the five senses. That's what creates sensory issues. It may be height, it may be sound, it may be the taste or the feel of food, and that goes on and on. But I want to stay with the whole concept of why autism. So once again, I'm going from this download and talking about survival mode and creating a minefield. For those of you who are new to the channel, look back on the videos on the minefield so you have a good understanding where we started from. A physical minefield, as any soldier or anyone in that sense, it's a sense of danger. But we're speaking of a psychological one where the sense of danger is really in your mind. And you're creating it because you're afraid. You're creating it because there's a whole lot of anxiety within you going on. And so you may ask, why would a child create a minefield? Well, it's not that they're creating the minefield at the initial stage. It's they live in an environment where they're living in a minefield. Their environment is a minefield. So it may be a parent, guardian, or it could just be a member of that environment, that home, the environment, I'm speaking of the home, who has a high level of anxiety. And so that person is coming from growing up where there was a minefield also, and they may have rituals like obsessive compulsive behaviors. They may have an issue with alcoholism where mood is dysregulated, and that's always hardest on children because there's the good mood days, and when the person is in a bad mood, then the child really suffers and understand the patterns right away. In addition, it could be physical punishment where the reason children create a minefield from living in a minefield is to protect the self. It's a coping mechanism with the high level of anxiety that they must live in. So what are some of the things they can do? In autism, it's just really the breakdown of how a coping mechanism works. A child may not be able to go to the bathroom in public, only in private. And so that gives them control over that bodily action. A child may just be hypersensitive to noise, where they have to wear a headphone, etc., etc. They may be nonverbal, and it's like having your word caught in your throat. They could be verbal, but it's sort of like a freeze response when you're in fight, flight, or freeze. So as a reminder, it's survival mode where you're living in it rather than visiting in it for a real danger, but you really should be living in the nervous system that gives you peace and rest and quiet, but you're not. So to live or survive this high sense of anxiety and fear, you have to develop rituals that help you to literally stay in your skin. And of course, it's worse for children. And most of us could think back to childhood and remember, because even as an adult, you're to create a minefield where your child is scared, you must have brought stuff like that over. So you could be a parent who yells, one who uses corporal punishment. You could have addiction rituals that are disturbing to your mood. But all of this impacts your child. And in order to cope, it's all about how does a child cope in survival mode, because you're not supposed to live in it. So you're not supposed to cope. It's really just there for live or die situation. It's a gun at your head, and it's a moment in time. Either you get that gun away or you're dead. So it's not a state to live in. We're living in a world where we have never seen so much fear, because everybody's living in survival mode. It's really a matter of degrees. And when you live in that mode, since it's a danger mode, you have to create what I call the minefield in order to survive and cope. So your minefield is going to impact another person living in your environment. It's energy, and it makes it very hard for them to cope in that environment, depending on what your minds are. And as we said earlier, the minds are triggers. There are things that trigger us and cause us to act in a certain way. I will continue this video on autism just with a reminder that if you stop Tylenol or vaccines, you will still have children having what the DSM-5 labels autism. So let's dig in deeper. I'm going to stop the video. I like the videos to be short, so I'm stopping for now. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have questions on this, please write me, ask the question, and I guarantee you I'll be able to give you an answer. In the meantime, let us stop here, and I will see you on the next video. Bye now.